The Incredible Hulk will not be presented this evening.
Damn!
You are watching The DL Show on Dave's Guitar Channel.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We are back. All right. What's going on? It is Wednesday night. The date is July 17th. We have Joe, who's sitting there on the bottom of the screen. Welcome, Joe.
Hello.
Over across next to me, we have Terry Kaiser from Weekend at Bernie's. Oh, wait, no, that's Krellbar. That's Krellbar. When I don't see Andrew McCarthy carrying you.
And Jonathan Silverman.
Jonathan Silverman, that's right. Hey, thanks, Neil Bambury. Yeah, these are my new specs. They came in the mail today.
The Ace Rothsteins.
Yeah, no, they're not as big. Although, you know what's funny is, so they came in the mail and they were sunglasses because I wanted to try them on to make sure that I liked them before I had them put lenses in. So then, and I was like, wow, they're a lot narrower like this than I thought they were. But I'm like, yeah, we'll do it. And now that I got them, I'm like, oh, actually, they're bigger than I thought they were. I ordered them. You can't get from an optometrist. These are black flies. They're called Santerias. You can see black flies over here. They're a sunglass company. I'll tell you, there's another great company, Black Flies or Seven Eye is another great. But you order these, and to find a decent pair of glasses, you got to do some research. Every time, I went to Costco and BJ's and a couple of different eye places, and I'm like, everything's so thin, and I like a big, thick side thing here. You know what I mean? I like them to feel like a pair of sturdy sunglasses. So I go to the sunglass companies and have glasses made out of them. So that's what these are. Black flies. Krellbar, on the other hand, is Terry Kaiser over there. Did I say that already? All right. So when we were in the green room, which, by the way, is not a room, and it's not green.
Snacks.
Not green.
No snacks.
Not green. And there's no snacks. But we were talking about, I don't know if anyone has seen this, Joe Satriani playing with Michael Anthony and Sammy Hagar's recent stuff where they're performing Van Halen songs. And I'm sorry if you're a Satriani fan, but this guy is a snooze fest. He seems so restrictive in playing Eddie. There's no excitement. It's here's the chord, here's the pick slide, here's this. It's terrible.
If you're going to play Eddie, you got to have flair.
Look, Snoozing with the alien. Good one, Krell. You could have just said it because we're on.
Well, I didn't
microphones.
want to interrupt you guys.
Nah, just say it. Come on, it's a good joke.
Well, it sucks
You don't
when you
come up
guys
with
are
good
talking.
jokes
And it doesn't
often.
really
No,
get
I
out
can-
there.
What's that?
It sucks when you guys are talking. I do try to fit something in, but then someone says something. It just
Yeah, maybe
destroys
you
it.
should stick with typing.
Yeah.
Joe's right.
I didn't say nothing.
I know. So, yeah, he should stick to his own material. It is, but to me, I've said it before. Like when people ask me what I think of Satriani, he's a fine player. I mean, I think he's a great player. He bores the living shit out of me. And in this case, it was like where I was like, oh, cool. Like, here's Joe, where he gets to, come out of the closet, if you will, and play some Van Halen. Joe says the same thing when he played Deep Purple. He plays it very lifeless. He's very lifeless. And who am I hard on for 80s guitar players besides your George Lynch? Because I'm still always going to be hard on him. But who am I always hard on? Vivian Campbell.
Yeah,
Vivian
right.
Campbell.
I
That's right.
watched Dio live with Vivian Campbell. And let me tell you, live, Vivian Campbell's fucking great.
Yeah.
He was great, and his tone sounds great on his leads. On the studio stuff, I feel like his tone stinks on the leads, and his leads are just too trying to play faster than he can, almost the way almost like Vinnie Vincent Invasion, where it's like, fuck, you ain't Ingve. Shut the fuck up and just play something melodic. Ben Deo says, I have a hard-on for Eddie Van Halen. Does anybody who's ever watched my show think that I give two flying fucks about Eddie Van Halen? That I am a fanboy of Eddie Van Halen? Would anybody ever say that in a million years?
Nope, you just appreciate him.
I think he's a great fucking player. In fact, I call him King Edward. I put him in my top 3.
Hey, Valerie.
But I'm Valerie. I'm sorry. Look, I've been ripping on people who do nothing but talk Van Halen. In fact, wasn't there a gentleman who has a YouTube channel who was openly weeping the day Van Halen died as if something in his life was taken from him? A guy he didn't know whose first 6 albums were great, but that finished in 1984.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah. I meant literally. You think I literally have an erection for him? I want to bang him? No. When I say someone has sex appeal, I'm talking about you can see, look, if you can't figure it out or you're fucking I can't ever say a guy has sex appeal because that would be gay, then you're a fag. Let me just say this. You're a fag.
Oh, fabulous.
You're a fagula.
He's a fag.
The bottom line is you can see, like, if you watch 2 actors in a look, we're gonna cast a movie. We're gonna put Brad Pitt as the star. Or I'm thinking of having Bruce McGill as the lead role.
D-Day.
Are you telling me you can't fucking tell the difference of which one would be the sex appeal star if the role was
Danny
somebody
DeVito.
right?
Danny DeVito, eh? The
When it's
singer?
supposed to be Mikey taking a back seat and no mention of Dave. You think he's crushing it, Neil? You're crazy. Crazy.
Day.
I think the only thing he's crushing is my love for those songs because he makes them sound boring as piss. And he's playing them what I would call as emotionally as anybody could. There is no emotion. It's just like he's just phoning it in.
Man, Voldemort rocks.
Russ Parrish does a great job of doing some Eddie stuff. In fact, if you ever watch Steel Panther was in and out of. There was 2 bands that Ralphie was playing at the same time: the Atomic Punks, Steel Panther. Dave, don't you know Russ Parrish. Yeah, I mean, I know who he is and I've met him, but I don't know him personally. I definitely don't know him personally. But I knew those guys because back when those guys were Metal Shop and then Metal School, Ray Lucia played, and I was friendly with Ray. But yeah. But the point I'm saying is that the Satriani stuff is just so bland. So bland. And again, I'm making a formal apology to I can't even remember his fucking name. Who's the guy that plays in Dio? Vivian Campbell.
Oh, that guy.
Because Vivian sounds fucking great. That band was tight. That band was good. And you got to give it to Dio. He's up there fucking killing it with that killer band. And then he's clearing dishes on chairs.
Oh, jeez.
By the way, about a week ago, somebody posted on Facebook. It said Ronnie James Dio. And it was a picture of Rhea Perlman. And I'm like, these motherfuckers must be watching my show. They're stealing my jokes. I've been doing that jokes for a year.
It's
more.
Chio.
Yeah, Hugh. I mean, first of all, the European market is so different. And, it's so funny because, like, I was a huge Van Halen fan in, like, let's say 1980. But I'm also at that point listening to Devo. I'm also at that point listening to Akadaka. I'm also at that point listening to everything. Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell. But just go up a couple of years, like 85, 86, when everyone started getting into glam metal, with the hair bands. I was so into The Cure, The Smiths, Banging Men. Thank you. It's a joke. No, but all those like Cocteau Twins, Japan, David Sylvian, which is all European bands that nobody here really gave a shit about. Bill Nelson. I mean, how many people know who Bill Nelson is?
Bebop Deluxe.
Yeah, but his solo stuff, there's an album called
I know a few things.
What is it? Giving something the Holy Ghost. That record is friggin' great. Can't remember the name of it, but every song.
Yeah, well,
you look like John Cryer as Ducky in Pretty in Pink with those glasses. I agree with that, Hannah-Bomb.
Yeah.
If John Cryer in Pretty in Pink looks like Terry Kaiser in Weekend at Bernie's.
I actually know who he's talking about.
Yeah, well, Kansas was a progressive rock band. I mean, you can't compare Van Halen to Kansas. Van Halen's a party band. It's a much more simple format of music where, Kansas was a complex, because he knew. I mean, anytime. I mean, if you said like you liked Yes in Kansas, yeah, of course, because you didn't like Yes, but you liked Kansas, I'd be like, oh, really? Because they're they're both progressive bands, but I mean, Van Halen is about as progressive as State Farm. Thank you.
Okay, Jake.
So the other day I talked about Mug Root Beer versus A&W. And RL's been in town, so I did a blind taste test with him.
You can tell.
And for the reason I love Mug Root Beer was the reason he preferred A&W. Because I told you, remember I said the Mug Root Beer is a lot stronger.
Mm.
And he goes, that's stronger with an aftertaste too. And I'm like, yeah, that root beer aftertaste. He didn't like it.
I find A&W has an aftertaste too, but it's like that artificial sweetener aftertaste.
Well, then we compared Crush Diet Sugar. What are they called? Crush Free Sugar Crush Zero with Sunkist Zero.
Crush versus Sunkist.
And my prediction was, I said, I don't think I'll be even able to tell the difference because I've had both and I've never noticed a difference. And then when I tasted them back to back, I'm like, oh my God, there's a huge difference.
I just had Crush not too long ago, the Crush Zero.
Crush has a much stronger taste. Like almost like a mandarin orange taste afterwards. It actually tastes like it has fruit juice in it compared to Sunkist, which I prefer the Sun-Kiss because it's just an artificial fucking orange soda, which is what I expect my orange soda to taste like. I don't want any natural ingredients.
I like Coke Zero now. It's like I like it better than Diet Coke, where I like Diet Dr. Pepper. I like better than Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar.
Funny. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to most of the zero versus diet, I like the diet version better because it's less sweet. But I haven't had diet mug, but mug zero's good.
Oh yeah,
it's good.
I just had my
what is
last
that?
one.
What is the color of that room? What's going on there?
I got those color changing bulbs, so I make one blue and one red, and it kind of gives it like a purple.
Yeah, the color purple.
Okay, now do some visual effects. Yeah, there you go.
They haven't kicked in. Here we go. I like the disco on the disco. Right, that's what it looks like. So, as I've mentioned before, guys, lately at night, I've been playing a game called Fortnite. And I told a bunch of you guys what my name on it was and how you could find me if you wanted to play. Joe has jumped on board. And Joe and I have been having some exciting games, haven't we, Joe?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Sweaty.
Oh, yeah.
Sweaty
I started
games.
playing. Now, I meant to join earlier, but I've been playing the remake of Resident Evil 2, and I kind of played that out. And I'm like, let me finally get out there because Dave's going to be like, I don't want you to think I'm dissing you or hurting your feelings. So I said, let me start playing. So this past Saturday, I started playing Fortnite, and that's today's 4 days later. What level am I now?
55 today.
About 55. As we were playing right before the game.
Yeah. It's
I said to Dave last night, I said, why don't instead of the normal stream, we play the game while we live stream?
Yeah. Because we're talking during the game. We're wearing headsets.
Yeah.
And we're talking. You know, we basically the premise of the game is you're on a bus that's floating over an island. You jump off. And then your job is to kill everybody on the island.
And the island is sectioned off into different kind of environments.
Right.
Once you get down, the only thing you have is your axe or whatever weapon to break shit. You have to find chests to get weapons. You have to get ammo, find health, find shields. There's cars and jeeps and shit to drive around. You could swim. You could even fish. I was trying to fish today. I couldn't catch anything.
Yeah, you get points for fishing.
And there's a storm that keeps coming in and making the playable area smaller and smaller. You start out with about 98, 100 people, and it comes down. Like the best I've done is I finished third. Dave has fucking won a few.
Yeah.
Well, you want to be the last man blasting.
Hinnabom's like, I could see you guys yelling at kids playing the game. I always say when I got killed that some 9-year-old just took me out.
Yeah. All right, Joe, stay by the car. Let me go kill this cunt. I'll be right back.
Right. That's the conversation.
That's the conversation. That's
because what happens is we get into a car, we put a gun on the car. So now Joe's manning the gun. But I'm like, but sometimes if you man the gun too hard, like people will start attacking you because they want you out of the picture. So I'm
new, so I want to shoot everything.
And I'm like, Joe, don't shoot the gun. I'll go sneak around and they'll see the car, but it looks like it's just a car that's sitting there. Then I try killing them and then we jump in the car and get the fuck out of there. But it's hilarious.
You know like, you remember the movie Colors with Robert Duvall and Sean Penn? And he goes, well, why don't we go down? He goes, let me think. He goes, why don't we walk down? And he says, and we
the
fuck
bull
them
story.
Yeah, the bull story. And that's what it's like if you remember the bull story. And you could look that up on YouTube. Colors bull story.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I try to play during work and I'll get a good game going on my own. And then a call comes in. So my character literally just has to stand there like this. And out of my peripheral vision, I see someone find me and kill me. And I'm like, fuck. And you get to play
it's a fun time.
Skins. So I've unlocked Magneto from the X-Men. Dave plays as Darth Maul.
Yeah.
His brother RL plays as Darth Maul. I've been playing as Magneto. I have a couple of the skins I've been playing as.
Bingham. Welcome.
Hello, John.
Hey.
What up, y'all?
What was the character you were today? Was that Black Panther? What was that?
That was Black Panther. Yeah.
Okay.
I figured I paid for it. Let me try them out. So I was trying
Black
different
Panther
ones
looks
out.
good.
Culturally appropriation.
What's
we
up
need more
there?
black people.
What's up there, John
What's
Lennon?
happening?
Wondering
Great record.
wondering why Krellbar's got on the John Lennon glasses there.
Is that
See,
a
it's
regular?
funny
They
you
just
see
happen to
John
be
Lennon.
here.
I see
I've had
Terry
these like
Kaiser
years.
from Weekend at Bernie's.
Oh, that's funny too. Yes. What am I up to? I've been watching the Republican National Convention on CNN.
Oh,
My
that's
plan-
funny.
My plan for this year is to watch that on CNN and to watch the Democrat one on Fox.
I've been watching the wheels go around and around. So
People say you're
love to watch them
crazy.
roll.
Well, you're going to get some fair reporting on CNN.
Yeah, I gotta say, there's some Republican politician females, and I'm like, hey, she don't look half bad. I know I'm getting older now. All
there's a
these
lot of
chicks,
hotties.
I'm just like, dang, really? She looks like
Excellent. Look at this, guys. Hey, let me just say this. Just last week, I was saying, if anyone has any questions about my lessons, JS, I'm going to answer that question in 1 second. John Bingham, RL's in town. I was with RL today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's been in town for a few days, and he's going to go up to Maine, I think, Friday, and then he'll be back down. But yeah,
Very good.
yeah.
guys
So
Film
JS,
some content for Fortnite.
we're talking about going on about me live streaming Fortnite because it would be hilarious because the antics and the conversations between me and my brother and me and Joe and actually the three of us play in trios. I mean, it's hilarious. We're like, it's RL's there.
You got to do it. That's the move. You guys will become millionaires.
Yeah.
That's how people make money
so
nowadays. You can't be a nurse or a doctor or a mechanic. You just live stream video games.
Okay, so let me just answer this question. So JES is asking me, how can I explain a C6 over E? So anytime you see a chord over another letter, it's telling you what the bass note is, because if you're playing guitar, I know your mentality is to think, well, the lower over it would be visually. It's not. It's on a sheet of music is how we see it. So a C6 over E means the low E is your bass note being played. And a C6 will have a 1, 3, and 5, and 6. I mean, you could call it an A minor 7 over E if you wanted to, depending on how you wanted to voice it. But in the context of that song, I call it a C6 over E. But it's the same 4 notes. I mean, you could take C, E, G, and A and call it C6. You could start on the E and go E, G, A, C. What would you call it? That would just be a C6 over E. The next one, G, A, C, E. C6 over G. A, C, E, G is A minor 7. So basically it would be an A minor 7 or a C6 over E, but it's the same 4 notes. There's a lot of names for chords you can call them, but there isn't really a right answer. You could call it, depending on how somebody wanted to voice it. They might look at it like an A minor 7 over E. That would be up to them. But that's really what it is. For me, it's because I think the C is the second note to the bottom. And so therefore I see it as a C6 over E. I hope that helps. Let me know, JS, if you understand what I was saying. All right.
Very good.
Well
explained.
Is that a regular Mountain Dew?
This is a Mountain Dew. Oh, Mountain Dew Zero. RL, I was trying one because I was like, let me try it again. I haven't had it since I drank yours a year ago. Yeah, it's not my favorite.
The best experience you get when you game with RL and DL, one guy's chomping on ice cubes the whole time. The other guy is down in cola, and then you keep hearing him piss. Like, what the fuck did I get myself into?
That's really funny.
It's fucking gold. It's hilarious. RL is chomping on ice cubes, and I am taking quite a few frequent pisses. If I'm drinking soda, sometimes I drink lemon water when I play in at home. But
Ooh, I am a big fan of the lemon water.
Get the lemon,
Yeah.
Junior.
Thank you, John. John at JS is John. Yeah, he says,
Yeah.
I explained it great. Yeah. And, but yeah, it's a fun. You don't play Fortnite, do you? Your kid does, though, right?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I think I
can't.
killed him last. I'm kidding.
I can't do it. I can't do it. Those guys move so fast. It's insane.
Well,
I got
those
no
guys
idea.
play build, right? They're
Yeah.
building. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
play the build game. The build
Yeah,
game is
fuck that
insane.
build. I don't like the build.
Yeah.
I mean,
What
if
system
you-
do you play it on? Do you play it on your computer or do you have a console?
Xbox.
You run
Xbox.
Xbox. Okay.
He's got an Xbox. I'm playing through Prime Luna, which is right on the browser.
Hey, you could do that to Luna.
Yeah.
Doesn't that
I got
slow
that on
you down
Fire
at all?
Stick.
No, it's
Really?
it's like the game is right here.
Wow.
I
That's
also have
surprising.
a NVIDIA Now subscription, but for some reason with NVIDIA, it's not seeing my headset. So I went back to get Luna, which I canceled 2 months ago, and they never canceled it. And they've been charging me. I said, okay, well, at least it's good that they didn't get canceled, because now I'm using it every single day. Finally,
Cheech says, any new guitar material? Well, how do you mean? You mean lessons? I haven't really thought about a lesson, although today I started playing. We have this girl that comes down and sings with us every now and then. We've been always doing these songs, and I thought it'd be cool to do Voices Carry. So I was looking at that song today, just how to play it, like how I would play it.
Is it the one that did Stevie Nicks that time?
What?
Is it the one that did Stevie Nicks that time it came up? The
Yes,
heavyset girl?
yes, exactly. Yeah. Well, we always do the Motels, Only the Lonely. She likes doing the 80s songs, so I figured that would be a cool song, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see. I don't know if I have any songs I'm teaching. Yeah, till Tuesday, Amy Mann. They were a Boston band. So, John, before you got here, I talked a little bit about Joe Satriani playing with Sammy Hagar and Michael Anthony this year, touring, doing David Lee Roth music. I mean, the Van Halen stuff. Have you seen these videos at all?
Just like the Howard Stern one. That was it.
How was it? Because my opinion of Satriani was he puts me to sleep playing Van Halen.
Yeah, he's not Eddie. He's a very different player. It doesn't work. I think watching a nearly 80-year-old Sammy Hagar and Michael Anthony get out there with Joe Satriani, it doesn't work.
No, but if you put any other guitar player in there, and I don't care if they can even play like Eddie or not, but if they play with some excitement.
Well, I mean, what you're suggesting and how you're qualifying it, I just don't think it's. I don't know how you do that. You put any other guitar player in there and you play with excitement. Well, what if you put Satriani in there and he plays with excitement?
He's not exciting. That's my
but
point. He's
you can't
absolute snooze.
Right. But my point is, how do you know anybody else trying to play Eddie's material can play it exciting?
Oh, because you can watch. I mean, you can watch Russ Parrish fucking play when they do. Steel Panther does a Van Halen cover.
Yeah, I don't think Sammy Hagar is going to earn as big of a tour check if he's got Russ Parrish playing guitar with him.
Oh, I disagree. I don't think the guitar player in that band matters because Sammy used to go out with that black guy, and that black guy plays better.
The guy from the
And
bus.
by the way,
Boys.
folks, it's not because I don't know his name. I just like calling him that black guy.
That's
No, I
fair.
have no idea what his name is. Anyone know who I'm talking about?
No idea.
I know who it is. It's like
But-
he was in the Bus Boys in 48 Hours. He was the guitar player.
He looks like Satriani, but black. He's got the shaved head. In fact, I think his name is Joe Satriani Washington.
Blind Lemon Satriani.
Such bro on him.
I think Satchel's a good player. I mean, I don't
he's
know if I
not-
would say I like his playing. He's a great
Vic
player.
Johnson.
All these guys are great
Satchel-
players. Don't get me
Satchel's a
wrong. I'm
really
not
good guitar
disparaging their playing.
His name's Vic
I'm just-
Johnson.
Oh, I was so close to saying Johnson instead of Washington, and I
could've
would have
worked.
fucking nailed it.
Not Jackson.
I don't know. I don't think Satriani's a compelling player. I've seen him play
No, it's
live 2 or
boring.
3 times, and he doesn't do it for me. He's out of all of those Shredder guys, he's always been kind of like my least favorite.
I've never seen him live.
I agree.
But I don't know if any of them could like play Eddie and make it sexy. I just like Vi couldn't do it either.
No,
Young Vi.
But when Vi does it, Vi's not
His own
trying to
stamp.
be Eddie. Vi just does Vi's thing
and he runs
instead
all
of
over
it.
the stage. Yeah.
Okay, well in that case, I still don't want to go and see it. But
I wouldn't either.
But I get your point.
But
You
put
think
it this way.
Satriani's trying to do Eddie though.
I don't know what he's trying to do. But if I'd say this, if you put Steve
he's
Lukather
failing.
in that seat, it would be so much better. Because Steve wouldn't really try to do Eddie's stuff or play the stuff. He would have his own flair involved. Paul Gilbert would have his own flair involved. And I want to say, I did, before you came on, John, apologize for what I've said about Vivian Campbell, because I watched a 1985 concert with with Ronnie James Dio. And
James Perlman.
And Vivian Campbell was fucking smoking.
Yeah.
And they started playing a song, and he put the cigarette down.
Oh, jeez.
That's awful. Seriously, he was smoking. His tone was great. The band was super tight. They were an exciting band.
Was Carmine Appice or Appice or whatever it is, was he playing?
I don't know. Not with Dio.
Yeah, Vinny played with Dio.
Right.
Oh,
it was,
right. Vinny
Appice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they would be a real sexy band if they didn't all look like they lived in fucking Lord of the Rings.
The Hobbit band.
I couldn't even tell you the name of the town in the fucking. That's what I was trying.
It's Hobbiton.
Oh, Hobbit.
Shire.
Okay.
The Shire.
I could think of it in my head as a
Rivendell.
Wookiee doesn't come from Endor.
I wonder if here's a question for you. Could Angus make that gig sound good? He clearly wouldn't be playing it like Eddie.
Nope. But if Angus played, let's say, for instance, Finish What You Started, it would sound like Angus playing it.
like
The
Saint
cheat says,
Tropez.
who's the better of the two, Vinny or Carmine? Personally, I like Carmine. I think he's a better drummer.
He's a better drummer, but for the metal side of things, I think Vinny's better. I think Carmine's a better rock drummer.
Who looks more like Neil Diamond? I think it's Vinny.
I haven't seen.
Oh,
him
you
in 30
haven't?
years. Not in 30 years. I don't know what he looks like.
Oh, yeah. It looks like he's going to be sitting those drums going, far. We've
thought
been
Carmine-
traveling far.
Didn't Carmine for a minute look like the trucker dude from Dusk Till Dawn?
Yeah, the Sex Machine.
Yeah, the sex
Tom
machine.
Savini.
Right. What's that actor's name?
Tom Savini. He's
Yeah,
a
there you
special
go.
effects guy.
Who could also pass for Bobby Kimball?
Yeah, the build. Yeah, same build.
Oh,
Have I
man.
seen a new drummer
Speaking of
called
Bobby
Two?
Kimball,
Oh, yeah.
you ever hear this old podcast called Christian Hand Song Breakdowns?
Mm-mm.
This guy, I don't know, he's some studio guy. He takes these classic songs and he breaks them apart so you can hear the isolated tracks and all that stuff. And he combines them together. It was like on some morning radio show for a while. He's got like 25 episodes or something, but you get past the idiot commentary by like the radio DJs who have no idea what's going on. And you just listen to what he's saying. Man, it's really cool. You can find it on I think like Apple Podcast and stuff like that. Probably all of your podcast apps. But Christian Hand is the name of the dude. And he does these song breakdowns. But he did Rosanna. And it's just it's just so awesome. It's unbelievable to sit there and listen to that broken down version of Rosanna.
Oh, you mean when
Hearing
they
Bobby
listen to the
soloed
back-
out, hearing all the harmonies.
the backing tracks and stuff?
Oh yeah, no, he can.
Oh, I've heard that.
Yeah,
I've heard
breaks
that.
it down track by track.
And they're
Hearing
laughing.
Bobby Kimball's voice with nothing around it
Fucking-
sounds like an angel.
Well, and Steve sang on that track too.
Right.
All I want to do in the
More
middle.
than I could ever be.
There's a lot of drummers I like. Obviously, I think Vinny Colaiuta is one of my favorites. I love Mark Craney. There's a lot of guys I like. Bonham, big Bonham fan.
Why is Everett Cummings saying that Satriani played with more energy and attitude with Lee Roth? When did Satriani play with Lee Roth?
He did.
I have no idea what he's talking about.
I don't think that's accurate. The record that Lee Roth did with Jason Becker has some unbelievable guitar playing on it.
Yeah.
That kid, when
Becker's
he
awesome.
wasn't, when he wasn't just doing like the cacophony sort of stuff, and he was just playing in a rock band context, like you listen to that song,
It's
A Little
Showtime.
Ain't Enough. That guitar solo in A Little Ain't Enough is outstanding.
It's Showtime is a smoke show too.
Yeah, that dude was a ripper.
Oh, he meant Vi. Hannibom says he thinks he meant Vi.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Well, I just think, and I've said this before, when I talk about sex appeal, like Eddie plays with like a fun, it's almost like there's so much attitude in what he's playing.
Yeah.
It's almost like, I don't care. Fuck it. You know, especially if you watch, there's a great live 79 concert on YouTube. And Eddie is just like, it doesn't even look like he's thinking of what to play, and he's playing all his parts perfect. Like it's just him, you know, and it's such an attitude, and it's so good. And like I said, there's like a lot of appeal to the band back then. I mean, even David Lee Roth, you watch any later David Lee Roth, what's that last tour they did with Wolfgang on bass?
Oh,
Okay,
different kind of truth.
Dave's dance moves on that stage and how he walks around on stage looks like fucking Joe Biden. He's doing like the baby steps, like walking, and it's like, oh my God, Lee Roth, what happened to you? And he's singing so terribly behind the beat. He can't even fit the words in. Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah.
I do like Greg Bissonette's drummings. Greg used to come into the shop quite a bit. I like Greg. Bingham, how are the Vietnamese transformer in the new Marshalls?
I don't know. I've never played. I don't play them. Couldn't tell you.
How are they? They're so good for a price you can bang them. Thank you.
I was gonna say, I think they work.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's funny with these gear nerd type of discussions that are so all over the internet, especially on YouTube, where people talking about pedals and gear. If you think an amp isn't bright enough, turn the treble up. If you want to put you know what I mean? It's like this 5 different things in your chain. You could change any one of those things out and fix your sound. But to sit there and say, I went through 10 different amplifiers here to find, what are you doing? Just go out and play. And most of these people aren't playing. And Nick was great. Yeah, I agree. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I did a trade for a new guitar the other day. That's fun, since this is guitar talk.
What'd you get?
I traded away that white Duesenberg that I had.
Okay.
For a Gretsch. A black Gretsch.
Where's the Gretsch? Is it a Nashville Gentleman?
No.
It's a duo jet.
Ooh.
A duo
single
jet,
cut duo jet.
59. And it's
zero fret or no?
No.
Excellent.
Ebony fretboard.
Yep.
Filter
Thumbnail dots.
Things woo. I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but God damn it, if Gretches aren't the sexiest guitars in the entire business.
They are to overweight tattooed Mexican girls.
Fuck, that's my ladies right there. I'm in.
You know, they love the rockabilly.
Dude.
The purple. Mexican women with purple hair, tattoos up, the fucking tattooed eyebrows
Oh man,
with
my
sleeves
yeah,
rolled up.
that's my ladies. I wish they
The
were
hair
into
in
me.
curlers all night before going out to the show.
I wish they were into me. They're not though.
No, you
I
need
have
a
a
white
type.
falcon for them.
I have a type, and my type is enormous black women. Yes, they're into it. I don't know why, but they're into it.
Yeah.
The bigger, the more they're into it.
That's why you do so well at the DMV.
Oh my God. Yeah. I'm pulling numbers out of the DMV like nobody's business.
Oh my God.
And here's the truth about it too. If I meet one that's 300 pounds, she's willing to marry me. If I meet one that's 400 pounds, she'll never forget me. That's the level of it.
So when I first moved to when I first moved to LA, I was working at Cheesecake Factory in the Marina. And I went to the DMV, and the woman is, let's just say, she's Bingham's type, or the type that likes Bingham.
Yes. Right.
She was a cross between Nell Carter and Esther Roll.
Oh God.
And so she's like, "Oh, you just moved here from Massachusetts?" I'm like, "Yeah." "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, right now I'm just working at Cheesecake Factory because a buddy of mine that I worked with in Boston got a job there, and he got me a job there." "They have specials there?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Like what?" Now she wants me to read her specials. I'm like, I'm just trying to get my fucking license. She says, "Like what?" I'm like, "You like herb crusted salmon? Little fucking garlic mashed potatoes?"
Oh my God. That's
like, can I get my fucking license in, or I gotta fucking pitch this woman a meal? True story.
Oh.
When
Yeah,
she
those are my
said,
people.
like, because she was like looking over when she's like what? Ah, this woman wants me to sell her food. Any
Those are my
thoughts
people.
on Chinese amplifiers like Joyo and Wang's Coffee Boutique for half the price? Yeah, she wanted a Dave cheesecake. I don't think so.
I have a Joyo
She wanted
zombie.
cheesecake. What
The
is it?
Joyo zombie sounds pretty good. The little band amps.
Uh-huh.
I don't know shit about Wang's amps.
Yeah, I don't know either. Or
Uh,
Joyo, I don't know either.
Never heard of it. The
Really?
Joyo stuff, I've never played it.
They're basically knockoffs. They're little micro amps, and they're all knockoffs of like famous amps like Marshalls and Mesas. The Zombie is a knockoff of a Mesa. I don't know which one,
Okay.
but it's got MB in the name, so it says Zombie, and the MB are extra highlighted.
I see. That's clever.
Like Mesa Boogie.
So Neil should understand something about me.
Hang on
I
for a second.
am terribly irresponsible with my money, and I prioritize buying good quality gear. I've never even looked at a Joyo, so I can't speak to it because I'm gonna look down on it like a complete asshole.
Rick
And
Grimes
then,
is asking the next about the Gretsch. The thing about the
necks. What does he mean? Are they their own animal? It's a guitar neck.
Are they comparable to another brand's necks? I mean,
They're somewhere between a Gibson and every other guitar on the planet.
Yeah,
It's
all necks to me feel the same.
It's a 22 fret, 24 3/4 or so scale length neck.
Yeah, it's
made out of wood. It has a truss rod. That sort of nitty gritty stuff. If I come out and I'm like, oh, it's kind of like an Ibanez neck. What's the next question? Which Ibanez?
I mean,
that's like it's a fucking car. I don't know. I'm such an asshole nowadays. I'm turning into.
No, I
Dave.
agree. It's and these questions about like Chinese gear. You can go see a band and think they sound fantastic, and you're using shitty, cheap gear, which clearly it's not shitty. And then you can go see a good band, a band that has really nice gear that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
So I mean, it really depends. Go try it out if you like it. If it's cheap and you dig it. I remember when the Bugaras first came out. I didn't love them. but then they came out with the clone amps and then they sounded pretty good. But I wish I cared enough to buy one. I don't. It's like I don't need it.
Yeah, well, look what's behind you.
I remember
not
the
even
Bugera.
close. I don't think. No, it's not even close.
I borrowed one of those Bugeras from who was the rep at that point in time? I don't even remember. The guy was whoever the Behringer rep was. Let me borrow one for a little while. It was that 22-watt one that they were making. So I
borrowed or he gave it to us.
No, I never kept it. I gave it back to him.
Oh, I kept it.
Yeah, there you go. No, I don't even remember.
He gave me one.
I don't even remember, but I gave it back to him. Well, I played like 2 rehearsals with this little cover band I was in with that thing, and turning it all the way up, it still wasn't loud enough. And
the sound wasn't great.
Right. And I've played like, take like a Tone King Imperial, which is rated at 20 watts. And it's so freaking loud that you have to turn it down in order to fit in the band. So, I mean, there are advantages to buying good quality stuff. You get more headroom out of the transformers. You just get better quality. I mean, that's a thing if it's worth it to you. It's kind of like,
So, Cheech, I just want to address Cheech's thing because he seems to think I'm a Zeppelin head. So I will say this: favorite drummer is Bonham. I love John Bonham. I think he's fantastic. Is he my favorite? I think there's been many times on this channel I have quoted and said my favorite drummer of all time is Jeff Porcaro. Have I not?
Probably.
I don't say he's the best, but I say he's my favorite. Because there's a difference if I say someone's the best versus my favorite. Because obviously, like I love Jeff's groove and his feel, but I'm not going to say he's like the greatest drummer. But he's my favorite. When it comes to bass players, there isn't one rock bassist that's going to make my list. To me, it would be between like Louis Johnson, Ronnie Baker, or let's see. I like Jameson. I like the funk and soul guys. I like Louis Johnson's really good. I like Chuck Rainey, but I like the guys that have some soul in the bass that to me do. And then as far as what was the other one? My favorite guitarist, I love Jimmy Page. But I would say Eddie is king, but I don't even know. Steve Wariner is one of my favorites. Just I just don't know. But when it comes to guitar players, I mean, if you ask me who I think the greatest was, I would say it's Holdsworth. But as far as who's my favorite, I couldn't tell you. It changes every day. At one point, Ole Roth was. There's so many great players.
Satriani?
My favorite bass player
is
Mike Huckabee.
Oh, he's great on bass.
Hey, Satriani.
There's a backstory to that girl. Sorry.
I like it all. Oh, Verdine White's awesome. I don't have a favorite genre of music because I listen to everything.
When you said Mike Huckabee, I mean, he's a politician from Arkansas. I thought you were making a joke about the...
No, he actually plays bass.
He's a bass
player.
He
does?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Did not know that.
I mean, I like country. I like metal. I like funk. I like soul. I don't even know if I like funk more than soul. I think I prefer the early 70s soul from Philadelphia. Yeah, Ricky, I love Warner. Soldano makes a 30-watt mini. Doug Pinnick, no. Again, there isn't a rock bassist I could give a shit about. Actually, I think the best rock bassist that played, if you want to play metal funk, was Norwood Fisher from Fishbone. In fact, that's a band I think that nobody ever talks about. That forget about the EP, but the first 3 albums are so fucking great. In Your Face, Truth and Soul, and Reality of My Surroundings by Fishbone.
What about Rick Scattori from Spice?
He's a great bassist. I don't think he's as good as Norwood Fisher, but I think he's a great bassist.
Billy Sheehan.
A great bassist.
Hmm.
It's great.
Geezer.
Oh, Geezer Butler.
A genre definitely can depict who's your favorite, but when you say the best, you have to then step out of there and be objective. Is that the word, or objective? And there's no way you're going to say Page is a better guitar player than Frank Gambale. There isn't a way in hell. But I'd take Jimmy Page 10 out of 10 times over Gambale. But Gambale's a way better guitar player. And you have to be objective and be like, you know, you may not like the way he plays, but the guy's a monster. I mean, he has such a fucking grasp of the instrument. In fact, he holds it like this. Thank you.
I think if I'm listening to music to enjoy bass and I'm listening to rock music, I'm probably putting on Rush, but I don't
he's
think
great.
I don't think he's the best in the world in terms of like all of like everything you can do, but the songwriting and the you know, the lines and stuff, it's like, oh, okay,
He's
I'm here
great.
for the bass.
Absolutely.
That I get.
And the same I could say for Yes. I think the tone, and although he played with a pick, which some people are like, oh, he plays with a pick, was Chris Squire from Yes.
Both of them using Rickenbackers, huh? Interesting.
Yeah, he used the Ricka sound and went into two different amps. One was a Marshall and the other was like an Ampeg. So one was just the clean bass sound, the other was that distorted.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of bass sound and everybody asking about amps and stuff a few minutes ago, a guy that works at Bad Cat with me, this dude named Rob, just built a Marshall Super Bass. You ever played a Super Bass before?
The Super Bass is the same as the Super Lead. It just has one
like
thing
bright
different in the
caps
front
or
end.
something that are different. Yeah.
Right
Man, it sounds but it sounds good. That change to turn it into a Super Bass, whatever that bright cap was. Oh, that thing sounded good. And he also put
but all those
master
guys like
volume on it.
Malcolm used to take them out. That's what makes it a Super Lead. They used to buy Super Basses so they could take out that whatever that takes the bass down, and then it becomes a Super Lead.
There's I know that's the case, but I think there's bright caps on the Super Lead as well that are not in the Super Bass. I could be wrong, but I think that's the case.
No, I thought it was just the front and the there's some you guys don't like Uriah Heep, but earlier Gary Thane was the best rock bassist in the 70s.
Nobody likes Uriah Heep. It's not just us.
Cool album cover. Abominog.
Yeah, but either way, that Super Bass, holy shit, sounded incredible.
I like the fact Jan says you guys don't like Uriah Heep. How do you know? You know how you know? Because nobody does. Look, I love Lee Kerslake, but I couldn't tell you one song he played on.
They didn't really make it past the 70s, did they? Like
they had that one song, Easy Living.
Yeah. That was like in...
And John Wetton. Let's just discuss John Wetton from Uriah Heep, because I think he was the singer at one point and played bass after the legend Gary Thane left the band. But John Wetton went in Asia. Oh, another thing about Asia. So I'm listening to an 80s mix in the gym, and Asia comes on, and it's Heat of the Moment. Now, I had been hearing, when I listened to my metal mix, Time Again from Asia's first album comes on, and fucking Steve Howe's tone is incredible on that song. And I'm like, how come it's so good on this song and every other song it stinks? Heat of the Moment, his guitar tone is right back to the shitbaggery that we know him for.
I will say it's not as good as Time and Time Again, but I still say Heat of the Moment is still better than some of the tones he had before in the Yes albums.
It still stinks for the song.
It sounds like a DOD distortion pedal. I don't know if you remember how those used to sound.
Peter Cetera's bass playing was pretty damn good. I mean, there was a lot of great bass players in the 70s. The guy in the hat, and when I say the hat, only Bingham knows I'm talking about Foghat.
Oh.
I thought you were talking about the pastrami place.
No. An Alhambra?
The hat.
Yeah, I love the hat.
Sorry, I'm not paying attention right now because I'm looking at the schematics of these two amps. I want to see the difference between a super lead and a
Hey,
super
Dwight
dome.
Bailey. Some girl on
They look
Instagram
identical.
messaged me, and I thought it was a fake account, but it looked like it could be a real account. So I said, "Where are you from?" She's like, "I live in Los Angeles." I go, "You ever go to the Hat?" She's like, "Is that a restaurant? If so, no." And I'm like, "That's it. This person's fake." There isn't a Mexican in LA that doesn't know the Hat. Or Philippe's, for that matter.
Philippe's is trash, though.
Philippe's is terrible.
Yeah.
I don't think the Hat's any bargain either, but Philippe's is like the home of the French dip sandwich. What? Izzy's had a better French dip sandwich, and that place closed.
Yeah. There's none of these places in LA that are like old school institutions are any good. The Hat is overrated. Philippe's is overrated.
Yeah.
Tito's Tacos is absolutely overrated. It's trash.
There's a place in, it's either Quincy, it's Wollaston Beach. And it's like the clam something, and it's basically just fried clam. It's basically the
clam.
Hat. What?
The drunken clam.
No, but it's basically, Mark King is awesome. Now, Mark King is a bass player. Hugh Caldwell, thank you for saying Mark King. LA, no. Vegas, maybe. I'm thinking more Vegas than LA.
Yeah, it is the new Vegas, new LA.
I wouldn't move back to LA.
Mark King is fantastic.
Want to leave? Mark Lever is fantastic too.
Isn't that a beautiful instrument? I like Tony Franklin. I don't love Tony Franklin. I like Tony Franklin. He did a clinic for us when he used to be the rep for, what was the company he repped? SWR?
SWR, yeah.
Yeah. Nice guy. Funny guy.
I'm wondering where my Amazon package is, by the way. I got a box of 10 to 52s coming here.
Really? What do you put in that? Oh, you putting that in the Gretsch?
I put them on everything. I'm just all out.
Oh, really? I'd like 9 to 46.
Well, yeah. Yeah, but I think most of your guitars are 25 and a halves, yeah?
Yeah, all of them are.
I think most of what I have now is 24 and 3/4.
Oh, yeah, so you'd go up. 10 to 52 sounds about right.
So you
Give
have
me
the
one
heavy-
sec, guys.
you have
I
the
just got to
heavy
hit the
bottoms.
head. 1 sec.
Yeah, what's the standard 10 set for Dario?
10 to 46.
Yeah, that's what I use.
Where is my delivery guy? I don't want to be putting on strings at 10 o'clock at night. Have you guys been watching any of this political bullshit that's going on?
Yeah, kind of.
I watch. My plan is I'm watching, like I said, the Republican thing on CNN. That's been fun.
Oh,
The
yeah.
balance. Watch that on CNN. Watch the Democrat one on
Fox.
MSNBC or something when it happens. I haven't started that yet. I'm very intrigued. I'm not, people are going to accuse me of being one side or the other, but I'm being very just pragmatic with this, not one side or the other. But did you hear everything that's gone on with Biden in the last 2 days? I'm convinced that there's the deal is done with the party. He's out.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that, I know they've been pressuring him, and publicly he's been saying all along, like, I'm not leaving. Well, he's been saying that. And then this morning he said, I'm not leaving unless I get an illness or something that makes me, he said this morning, if I have an illness or something that makes me incapable, then I'll consider it. And then 4 hours later, they're like, oh, by the way, he's got COVID. I'm like, yeah, that deal was done yesterday. Now they're just easing him out of it and trying to make it look public and good. It's bullshit. That deal's done. He's not going to be running.
Well, I want to see J.D. Vance and Harris go at it in the VP debate. That's going to be a fucking bloodbath.
What's that famous line that Kamala always says? Something. She's got this line
unburdened.
that they make fun of her for.
The has been.
Yeah, something like you can't see something or another about
She
it.
thinks she's a genius when she says it. All it does is
Yeah, I don't get it. But yeah, I my only point to that was I'm absolutely convinced that it's done now. Even my 10-year-old is like, "Oh yeah, that's suspicious." So, who's next?
Yes,
It's
it
probably
is.
going to be Joe's girl Kamala.
Yeah, well, sacrificial lamb.
She's my favorite bass player, by the way. That's why I brought it up.
Speaking of Joe, when he walks on stage, does it not remind you of David Lee Roth
Lee
on the
Roth.
2015? I'm kidding. Bring it back.
It depends.
Oh,
I saw Stanley Clark back in the day. Yeah, he's a good bass player. I mean, all those guys. Yeah, Trump's gonna win. That's why you're gonna vote, because Trump's gonna win.
but he's going to win. I'm just curious if I'm right. I'm convinced I'm right. Your boy is already out. Your boy
I
Biden.
don't know about that. I think they're panicking and trying to figure shit out.
I think the deal's done in the background. Did you you were in the bathroom when I brought this up. So the timeline of events that makes me think this. Yesterday, up till yesterday and weeks before that, he's saying I'm not fucking leaving. You can't make me. This morning at 8 a.m., he says, the only way I'll consider leaving is if I have an illness that renders me incapable of doing anything. At noon today, they're like, oh, by the way, the president's got COVID. And moreover, when they were showing him on the tarmac getting on his airplane with all the people around him, he wasn't wearing a mask. So, and this isn't conspiracy theory stuff. This is shit I saw on CNN. So, I think that I think the deal's already done. And I think what's going on right now is they're giving him a graceful path out of it, giving him an excuse saying, oh, he actually was sick and the COVID, affected him more than, because of his age or whatever. They're giving him
He's
a graceful
sick. He's got
way out.
fucking sundowners.
He's done.
Right?
But,
he's got like some form of dementia. He's out of his tits.
Yeah. No, I understand this, but I'm just saying the way that the media portrays it, and lies to everybody. They're giving you this whole story about how he's not done yet.
It's like, oh, he's as sharp as ever.
He's done.
Evans hasn't been good enough.
What's that?
Ever hasn't been good enough. He sucks.
You know what my favorite thing about him, though, is? I do like one thing about watching Biden talk. I like all the old-timey shit that he says. Like, he'll say some things that I've never heard before, and I'll be like, I'm going to use that. Like, I remember when he's in the debate, and he's Donald Trump's talking about morals. He's got the morals of a tomcat. I'm like, what? What's a tomcat? And I'm like, ooh, this is good.
Awful.
I was in a street gang called the Bay City Bully Boys back in
Popcorn.
1947.
Popcorn, yeah.
Oh my God, it's the best. The old
I
timey
stood up
stuff
to
is my favorite. Oh.
Yeah, he was in that gang with Ace Frehley.
Oh my God, that's funny shit.
Yeah.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Sugar Corn Pops.
It was me and Slappy and Corn Pop. We go down to the Jersey Shore. Anyway, that's enough of me getting you banned.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. Titch just joined the chat. So, question for the chairman: who's the best Aussie guitar player, Kambali or Emmanuel or Tommy Emmanuel?
Two different types.
I like Tommy Emmanuel. I like all the fucking Chet Atkins stuff he does. So, but either answer, Titch, is wrong because we both know it's Ian Moss. You guys have no idea who Ian Moss is.
No idea.
Is it Blue Nile or something?
No, Ian Moss. No, we're talking Australian. Titch, I don't know if you guys know Titch. Titch used to be my roommate
Oh, Cold
years
Chisel.
ago. A buddy of mine in LA from Australia. And Bali or a man. Yeah. Literally can't stop. Exactly. I knew it because you can't get around. You can't get enough of the chisel.
What about your girl
chisel.
Orianthi?
I do love cold chisel. I'll
What
tell you,
about
never before, never before. Never before is the greatest Titch. Also, I couldn't come up with the guitar player for the Angels. I can't remember his name. All I can think of is Doc
Punky
East.
Meadows.
No, the Angels, the Australian band.
Oh, I thought you meant Angel.
No, the Angels that had to change their name to Angel City when they came to the States. Remember Angel City?
Slappy Meadows.
Punky Meadows.
Punky Meadows.
Punky Meadows. Oh no, Punky Meadows was a street brawler in the old Biden Bay City Rollers gang.
Punky Corn Pop.
Have you ever seen Punky Meadows? Is as trans as he looks terrible.
Punky Meadows had more hairy legs than I've ever seen.
Not Doc Neeson, the guitar player. Am I ever gonna see your face again? No way, get fucked, fuck off.
Nobody's saying
Angels.
Chris Chaney, huh? Chris Chaney's a good player.
What's he from?
Chris Chaney.
I got to be honest with you, though.
group called
I
The Living
love
End.
Ian Moss from Cold Chisel. He put out a bunch of solo instrumental records. I love Ian Moss. How about a band called The Gods? Don't know them.
Nope.
Rick Brewster. Rick Brewster and Punky Meadows had a kid.
Yeah, I
Punky
get that.
Brewster.
Rick Brewster and Punky Meadows had a kid.
Punky
They called
Brewster
it-
used to have a great rack.
And they
Oh
called it-
yeah,
the hell?
she had to
Rick
have
Punky.
it reduced.
Yeah.
That first Pumpkinhead movie she was in, the second one or whatever, she still had it too.
What was her name?
It
Moon.
was,
Moonfry.
Sky Salil
Kaleo
Moonfry.
Moonfry.
That's it. Yeah.
Wow, that's a hell of a name.
That-
She had hippie
oh, yeah,
parents or something, yeah.
That's some new age name for big tits.
Yeah. I knew a girl that had ginormous boobs, and she was telling me, she's like, I have to let you know I've committed a murder. I'm like, that's okay. I mean, we all lose our mind a little bit. She's like, oh yeah, and I've been sleeping around on my husband. I'm like, that's fine. Don't worry about it. She's like, and I had a boob reduction. You fucking sinner. You are the worst person. Thank you very much, folks. That's my bit.
That's right.
Oh, I told you, Titch. It's the Kansas City Shuffle. Look, see, guys, this is what you do when you watch the DL show. You listen to my recommendations. Lucky number 11. It's fucking great. One of my favorites. It's the Kansas City Shuffle. Any of you guys seen it? You need to see it.
You guys
start watching it and
dancing
I fell
around like
asleep.
a bunch of Kansas City shuffles. What?
Lucy Liu also is in a great movie, The Payback. Anyone ever see Payback?
We love
Yeah, a
people.
long time ago.
Mel Gibson.
Mel
one of the
Gibson.
best.
The original, not the director's cut where he fucking destroys it.
We love Melvin Gibson from Payback. That's a great
You'd have
movie.
to ask Joe. Joe, what streaming service was it on? Because didn't you download it, Lucky Number 11?
No, I bought it on for Voodoo. So it's either Movie Anywhere or Voodoo.
Yes, Titch, the Maria Bello flick. Yeah, Payback is so good. David Paymer. Are you threatening me? Well, technically, I'm threatening Carter. Oh, the movie's great. William Devane. Chris Christopherson. It's a mixture. Which one, though? There's two. There's the director's cut, which ends terribly in the subway and at the bus station or whatever. And then there's the original where they drive off at the end.
I don't know which one I've seen online recently. I saw it years ago when it came out.
Oh, the movie's great.
So whatever the original cut was, fantastic.
Yeah, that's the best one. Well, what happened was the movie was being made, and Mel Gibson was like, "This ending sucks. We got to change it." And so the studio got behind Mel and made the director rewrite the ending, and they fixed it. And then recently, the director re-released the movie how he wanted it to be done, and it sucks.
Oh,
Mel
okay.
Gibson was 100% right. Yeah, it's a great tune, Everett.
It's on.
Oh,
Tubi
I saw a new
for
movie
free.
this week, and I watched. It was so bad, I watched it twice to make sure I wasn't wrong.
Which movie?
The Beekeeper.
Oh, Jason Statham.
Jason
Is it
Statham.
good or bad?
Horrible.
I might have to watch it twice to make sure. No, I'm kidding.
Dude, it was literally okay. So first of all, it's kind of like it's a revenge movie, right? It's a little bit like a John Wick. Take the idea of a John Wick movie and make it really fucking bad.
I like Statham though. He's in a lot of great movies.
Yeah.
All he does in this
Transporter's
movie,
awesome.
He's very typical, like very quiet, soft spoken. Everybody talks to like this, right? And
Well, he's great as Turkish in Snatch.
Oh, well, Snatch is a good film. This is not Snatch.
Yeah.
This is The Beekeeper.
You know, it was great.
There's an infection.
Did you ever
in the
see him?
hive. It's fucking
You ever
awesome.
see him in Crank 1 and 2?
Oh yeah.
Those movies are fucking insane.
I have a buddy that's in I want to say Crank 1. When he jumps into the cab and he starts yelling that he's Al Qaeda or the Taliban.
Oh, I've seen either of them.
Joe, you know what I'm talking about? The taxi driver looks like he's like an Arab
It's been a
guy.
while. Yeah. But it's been
That's
a while
that's
since
a buddy
I've
of
seen it.
mine, Chuki. He lives in Vegas now, but he used to work on Venice Beach.
Jesus.
Chuk. Yeah, I forget his last name, but we called him Chuki. He was also in the movie, I think it's called Lone Soldier, whatever it is with Mark Wahlberg, where he plays the soldier out there in Afghanistan.
Isn't it Lone Survivor?
Lone Survivor.
Lone Star.
He
That was a
plays
good
the head of
movie.
the Taliban in Lone Survivor. He's actually Afghanistani. Well, we were talking about this, about 70s movies. Arel and I were talking about 70s versus 80s, where the 70s is far superior in the movie department than the 80s. And I think the 90s is better than both.
Yeah, but we were doing that the last time I was on, and it wasn't.
The 90s? Well, of course it was.
No, we were doing box office.
Oh, forget about box office numbers aren't going to work because you got 10 years, 20 years later, what are you going to do? Obviously, the numbers are going to be higher because you have a grossing. It's not done by, you know what I mean? So that doesn't really, but if you sit there and say, you mean the 5 best movies of the 70s? And if you say Jaws, we're fighting because Jaws isn't good.
How do you not like Jaws?
I just think that it's a crappy, do you like Jaws, Krell?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I'm a shark addict.
Me too.
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.
Did you watch Under Paris yet, Krell?
No, not yet.
Why not?
Under Paris?
Yeah,
Pete
great
Koch.
movie.
With the giant shark,
Pete Koch
yeah.
was sweet.
That night I was starting to watch it. I fell asleep. Most
The Mechanic is 1972 or 74. That's Bronson. I
Michael
like the
Vincent.
remake of The Mechanic better.
With Jason Statham.
But in the 70s, Godfather 1. I mean, that's got to be the number one. The Sting is a fantastic movie. I happen to like Dog Day Afternoon. I don't know if The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3 would be up there for me.
Dave doesn't like The Exorcist. I do.
Oh, The Exorcist is fucking great.
I think it's a good movie. I just don't think it's in the top of All right, I put Goodfellas over The Godfather from the 90s. Would you not say Goodfellas is a better movie than The
I would
Godfather?
agree. No, I would agree. I like Goodfellas.
Yeah.
I mean, The Godfather has 30 minutes where it just drags, and that's where it's the weakness of that.
What happened?
Yeah, Dog
Irish
Day.
Goodbye.
Oh, did I hit something?
Irish Goodbye this early? Okay. No, I think we got the Irish Goodbye from John.
Oh, I didn't even know I did anything. We can do this.
He goes, they're talking about movies again. Apocalypse Now is not that good. It has some good scenes.
I like it, but it's
Apocalypse Now is 80, isn't it, or 81?
No, 79.
79.
It is? All right, let me just say this. Robert Shaw was great in Jaws. You know what he's better in?
Also.
The
He's
Sting.
better in The Sting. The Sting's a better film. And he's better in The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3.
How about First Men from Navarone?
The 90s. All right, I said Goodfellas. I'm going to say Silence of the Lambs. The Fugitive.
Well, she a great
The
big fat
Matrix.
person.
Payback. Rambo, that's 80s. I don't. Oh, Chinatown, you think Chinatown? I think the Marathon Man titch is worse. Marathon Man is like the whole
Well, here
movie
we
is
go.
based.
Here
I'm
we
gonna
was
tell
doing it last
Titch is here-
week.
I know, but Titch is a movie guy, and he's here today.
Okay.
By the way, Titch could sit there and tell you every movie, every Oscar winner from 1950 to today without even blinking. He's a savant.
By the way, 90s, Tombstone.
Oh.
Yeah, 90s are
excellent.
better years, I'm
Yeah.
telling you. But if you're going to talk about overrated, Marathon Man, is it safe? Is it safe? Oh, you're afraid to go to the bank? But you're going to go to the Jewish part of town in the Diamond District and fucking try to, but you're not worried about that? You're paying this girl to sleep with this midget, Dustin Hoffman, but you can't pay a guy to go to the bank and pretend he's you? The movie's retarded. Lebowski's awesome. Is that 2000s or 90s?
That's 90s.
Yeah,
I want to
Lebowski.
say it's 90, 96.
What year is Fargo?
Oh, that's
Fargo's a great
96, I
movie.
think. Fargo.
What year is
90
Oh Brother, We're Out Thou's 2000 or 2001? I like that one a lot too.
Yeah, Fargo was
Lebowski
96,
was 98.
98.
It's great. I take the 90s over the 70s all day. All day.
Fargo was 96.
The Crow. The Crow was
You don't need to analyze it out of the plot. Unfortunately, you're saying it's a great movie when the plot has such a hole in it where the guy's like going to start pulling teeth from the guy. The movie stinks.
Unforgiven.
It's
was
great.
90s.
It's great if you like terrible movies. Movie
Schindler's
stinks.
List. Braveheart. Casino.
3 Days of the Condor is 10 times the movie Marathon Man is, and nobody ever brings it up. But it's a great movie. Marathon Man, even the ending sucks when Hoffman throws all the jewels around and doesn't keep them for himself. It is so absurd. The pacing stinks. The movie's terrible. That's all I'm going to say about Marathon Man. Hey, John's here. Brasco's fantastic.
Yo, bro.
Donnie, you know what the bow is? Donnie, go to the bow. Go to the bow. I don't even want to look at you right now, Donnie. Brasco's awesome. Awesome. Again, I'm going to take the 90s over. You ready for this? I don't care what comedy you come up in the 70s. Can you come up with better than Something About Mary?
Dumb and Dumber.
Something About Mary's in the 90s, folks. That's tough to beat.
Blazing Saddles is great in the 70s.
Yeah, Blazing Saddles is awesome.
That's great.
Mm,
It's cute.
Oh, come on.
cute. Okay.
It's not as good as High Anxiety. If you're going to throw Mel Brooks movies out, High Anxiety is a better film. It's more clever and funny. Was Tori Wells in it? No, the Tori Wells in the 80s was in a movie called Chameleon. You might have enjoyed. 3 Days of the Condor, top 10 in the 70s. I'd agree with that. I'd buy into that. I don't know if I would agree after going through like Love and Death. I think the Holy Grail from Monty Python is in there.
There's that movie called
Tommy Boy's 90s, Adam Sandler, a bunch of Adam
Richard
Sandler
Hatch,
movies.
what's his name? Strother Martin and Richard Kroll. The one where Richard Hatch turns into a snake. Not a good
Animal
movie.
House. I don't think Animal House
78.
aged as well. It's 78. It's 70s. Tommy Boy's fantastic. Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, the wedding singer.
And
all
that's
great.
it for me with Adam Sandler.
Austin
didn't
Powers.
like
You're
Big Bad.
crazy. Zohan is awesome. Don't mess with Zohan. Midnight Run. Thank you, Titch. 1988. There's an 80s movie that is probably the best. Midnight Run. You've got your Coming to America, Trading Places.
You want some beef jerky?
Like I said, Pickles. Like I said about something about Mary, it's tough to eat with masturbating. I mean, it's hard to beat that movie. That movie's I think it's one of the best.
Yeah, I just want to point out your favorite movie kicked off 1990, Awakenings.
Terrible. Terrible.
Hollywood Nights. Ricky Compton brought that one out. Oh, yes.
De Niro was like, you ever see
you
Lost in
bombed it.
America? Yeah, isn't that the Oh, that's Lost in Translation. What's Lost in America? Fletch is funnier than Schindler's List. Schindler's List is the 90s. I think Life is Beautiful is the 90s.
Yeah, Schindler's List is 93.
Yeah, I mean, it's great.
Hollywood Nights is 1980.
You could honestly get rid of all the Tom Hanks movies in the 90s, and I'm still good with the 90s. I don't care about your Forrest Gump, your Philadelphia. That's Tom Hanks. Everything he says is a riot. I have AIDS. Ah. Remember Peter Griffin? Oh, Something About Mary's better than Airplane. Again, Airplane's Airplane is what we call shticky. It's a lot of shtick, which it's funny, but it's not nearly as good as if you look at Airplane. Is Airplane better than the Police Squad TV show? Those 6 episodes? No way.
Barton Factory, Coen
King
Brothers.
of Comedy's good. I'll tell you, the 80s, King of Comedy's in the 80s, right? And that's Scorsese.
Yeah,
And I think The Color of Money is a great picture in the 80s. Barton Fink I liked. I didn't love it. I don't care for Raising Arizona. Sorry. Weird Science. What was her name?
Kelly LeBrock.
Kelly LeBrock.
She was good in Weird Science. That's a great movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's classic. But again, the 80s really owned the coming of age era. My Bodyguard, My Tutor, Private Lessons, Private School.
My Privates.
What's the wrestling movie? Vision Quest.
Vision Quest, yeah.
Fast Times, Valley Girl. I mean, the 80s owned the coming of age shit.
It's your friends, Julie.
It's your fucking friends. I'm trying to think. I'll tell you, there's a sleeper from the 60s that gets no love. If you want to watch a great movie, it's called No Way to Treat a Lady from 1968 with Rod Steiger playing a killer.
Oh, Rod Steiger is amazing.
In fact, I was playing a poker game with the guy who directed Cujo, and we were talking about movies, and I said, you know what you should do? Do a remake of No Way to Treat a Lady and get Malkovich to play the killer. It'd be great.
Well, who else is in it besides Steiger?
George Siegel,
Oh, okay.
who plays his mother. What's the woman's name from Quincy, Mass?
Oh,
The old lady, Harold
Ruth
and Maude.
Gordon?
Ruth Gordon. Thank you. Ruth Gordon. Movie's awesome. Awesome. Steiger's great. But yeah, the 80s own the coming of age because, you got all the John Hughes, Breakfast Club. Dirty Harry movies are good. Magnum Force is good. The Enforcer.
The first one's amazing.
there was some in the 80s, too.
I'm all busted up about that.
Sudden
man.
Impact was in 84.
That's a funny one, Titch. There's a sleeper from around that time that Woody Allen did, but I can't remember the name. Was it Sleeper? Jeez, doesn't anybody knock? Yeah, I'm telling you. But you think about it. Something about Mary. Every bit in the film is gold. Tucker, you must have studied with Kim Green, among others. The movie's awesome. See, I think the 80s movies were worse than the 70s and the 90s, and clearly worse than the 2000s. 2000's a great year, too.
Well, you had Terminator, you had Predator. Those
Yeah.
are great.
Aliens.
Alien. That was 79.
Yeah.
Alien.
Yeah, just one of the guys. The President's Analyst. There's also another movie. What's it? Putney Swope. Woogie. Oh, man. That movie's just gold. Something About Mary is definitely fair. I mean, what was after that? Me, Myself, and Irene. That wasn't that good. What was after that?
That was Stuck on You.
Oh, Stuck on You, I love. I think that's 2000s, though. Well, I'm an actor. He's a grillman. Any Clint Eastwood fans? I like all the Clint stuff. I mean, Every Which Way But Loose with what's his name? What's
Jeffrey
the other
Lewis.
actor? Jeff Lewis, yeah. I mean, those movies are terrible. The Last American Virgin is gold. Gold, I tell you. Hi, Gary. What's up, Rose? Last American Virgin's great.
What's the guy's
Yeah.
name?
Oh,
Steve
and so is
Bannon.
Better Off Dead.
Oh, yeah. $2.
Speaking of movies with
That's
Diane
a great
Franklin.
movie.
I'm just trying to come up with Diane Franklin movies.
Oh, yeah. Well, American Virgin was one.
What was
Bill
the
and
movie?
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure had Diane Franklin.
Yeah. And what was the other movie?
Oh, Amityville 2. She was in
The
too.
Possession.
Yeah,
Amityville
Possession.
2, The Possession.
Yeah.
She posts
What
on
is that?
her,
What is that alarm going off, guys?
That's me about to go put Mikey to bed. I'll be back in a few.
Is that an Alexa alarm?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going nuts because I'm going. Is my Alexa?
It literally it started less than a minute ago. That's
Yeah,
why
no, I heard
was
it.
waiting
I'm like,
for you
wait,
to. That's all the way in the living room too, so I'm surprised you could hear it.
Oh, well, look, that's why it's so faint. I'm like, is that coming from my bedroom? Did I have
Oh.
the alarm set?
Ricky, Death Race 2000 was in the early 70s. We're talking
Yeah.
75.
All right, I'll be back in a
75. It
few.
was
Well,
before
I would call
Rocky.
that the mid 70s.
Yeah. I was going to say 74 before, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 75.
Wait a second. Let me figure out what I gotta
Death
do.
Race 2000. Let's see. $1975. Yep. The Car, that was 77.
Is there a better 80s comedy better than Beverly Hills Cop? Titch, I believe
Coming
I'm
to
of the
America.
opinion that Coming to America is the best 80s comedy. I think Beverly Hills Cop is great. I just think Coming to America is the best comedy of the 80s. I would give it the best comedy of the 80s. I have a date with Lisa. You see, there's a new Reagan movie coming out. Nope. American Splendor is awesome. Tell me about your bride. Is she a nerd? Great. Great. What's a better picture? The Graduate or Midnight Cowboy?
Oh, geez.
I'll take Ronnie Cox. He's in RoboCop. He's in Deliverance. He's in Total Recall.
You
He's
know,
in Beverly Hills Cop.
that's a tough one because Ratso Rizzo versus
Oh, I don't think it's tough at all.
Plastics. Well, I like the quirkiness of The Graduate.
Yeah, I think The Graduate's way better. But I think Midnight Cowboy won Best Picture. I don't think The Graduate did. Hey, Titch, who won 1967 Best Picture? I'm trying to walk over here.
I'm walking here.
I like in The Graduate. Good evening, Mr. Gladstone. No, Midnight Cowboy won in 69. Oh, you're saying Midnight Cowboy is your favorite. That won in 69. What won in 67? I know 68 is Oliver.
Well, we're waiting. Caddyshack, 1979.
That's 80.
It's not 79?
80.
Yeah.
I know
Madeline
there's a God
Mandela.
up there somewhere. Heat of the Night, I don't really care for. Man of All Seasons, Lacy Underalls. Ever see Thunder Alley? Bad movie, but I like some of the music in it. Leif Garrett was in it. Apparently, A Man for All Seasons. 67 was A Man for All Seasons? No.
Is that Orson Welles? Yeah. 39th Academy Awards, April 10th, 1967.
Yeah, that means that if it won in 67, that was the picture of 66.
Okay, so 1968 Academy Awards.
For the year 67, you know what I mean? What won 68?
That's Oliver. So that would be
No, that is real.
in 1968, it would be 67. It says, In the Heat of the Night won the Academy Award.
In 67?
For 67, yeah. It
Yeah,
won in
okay,
68.
that sounds right.
Yep. Speaking of Rod Steiger.
How was the gig you went to Wednesday? Oh, it was great. So I went to that gig on Wednesday. My buddy was playing, and he's in an Allman Brothers tribute band. There must have been like 2,000 people out there. It was really good. Really good. Trying to work on better adjectives. It was they call me Mr. Krell. I was looking to see what else. Yeah, it was outdoors. Do you like Jaco Pastorius? Yeah, he's great. Teen Town. I mean, it's not such listening music as much. I mean, I also like Weather Report that he played. Over the Edge is a cult classic. What about Over the Top? Jagged Edge with Jeff Bridges. Nah. Now, Die Hard might be one of the best films of the 80s. As a bass player, yeah, he's a jazz player. I mean, you could say he's the best. He wouldn't be my favorite. There are jazz players I like, Ron Carter. There are guys I like better, but Jocko's a great bass player. He's more of a bass player. But I like more of the soul guys, Jameson and, I think is it a Christmas film? It takes place on Christmas Eve. I used to watch. I've watched it several Christmases. I'll sit and watch it on Christmas. I love it. Ooh, now see, I gotta get Titch on the show. Great question. Has anyone made more great flicks than Bruce Willis? I'm going to give you the long and short of it and say no. Nobody has.
Yeah, The Last Boy Scout was pretty good.
First of all, Titch just watched Lucky Number 11. It's fucking awesome. Bruce Willis is in it. Die Hard. Die Hard 2. Die Harder. All the Die Hard stuff.
The Red movies weren't bad.
No, I haven't seen that old. 12 Monkeys, Sixth Sense. 12 Monkeys is fantastic. Sixth Sense is fantastic. What else is Willis in? He's unstoppable.
Oh, The Fifth Element.
I even liked him in the remake of The Fifth Element with Luc Besson, the film. There is a Fifth Element. Yeah, Leeloo Dallas Multipass. I'm putting that as one of my all-time favorite movies. What year was that?
That was in the 90s. 96, 97, I think.
Now, I will give you guys this. The movie Blind Date with Kim Basinger and fucking Bruce Willis is
and
fucking
Stanley
awful.
Jordan was in it.
Yeah, it's awful. Fifth Element's awesome.
97.
97 Fifth Element.
Yep.
Another feather in the cap of the 90s.
Okay, here I've
How
got
about the Big Blue? What year was the Big Blue? Yes, isn't Lucky Number 11 great, Everett?
Big Blue.
The Big Blue is another Luc Besson film. It was before The Fifth Element.
88. 88.
That's a fantastic. That could be one of the best films of the 80s. Jean Reno is in it. Right, don't include Coast Guard with... Oh, yeah. What's the Willis one? Lucky Number 11's awesome. There's a terrible Willis one where he's an astronaut.
Was it Interstellar he was in?
And he goes back in time. Is that what it is? He goes on a mission. He sees his daughter at the end, and she's an old lady.
Yeah, well, he was in that, but I don't think he had a main role in that. That was Matthew McConaughey.
Right, but he played the father, right? That was in The Wall. Oh, Hudson Hawk's excellent.
Okay,
Armageddon I could do without.
Look Who's Talking to Bonfire of the Vanities.
Wait, what's the movie I'm thinking of? Is that McConaughey's in, right?
Yeah.
It's
But
terrible.
I think he might be in that as well, though, Bruce Willis.
Doesn't he play her father?
I think so. You hit me with this. I watched it once, and I
know, but you have Google in front of you, and I'm looking it up.
Yeah, I'm going through the IMDb for.
All right, hold on.
Hudson Hawk, he was in. Billy Bathgate, Last Boy Scout, I mentioned. The Player, Death Becomes Her, Loaded Weapon 1.
Oh no, he's not in it. It was McConaughey.
Yeah, but I think he had a bit part in it, though.
No,
I
no.
could swear. Maybe
That's
it's
not the
Mandela.
movie I'm thinking of.
Loaded
No,
Weapon
this movie
1.
Interstellar is terrible.
Pulp Fiction, of course, he was in. Nobody's Fool, Die Hard with a Vengeance, Four Rooms.
Nobody's Nalt. Yeah, right, Neil. I was thinking Interstellar. It's McConaughey. The movie's terrible.
Last Man Standing.
I tell you what I liked. I liked Glass.
Yep.
I liked
Split.
and
Unbreakable.
And I liked Unbreakable.
The Jackal. Did you like that one?
I enjoyed The Jackal. I like also the remake of Death Wish with Willis.
Yeah, that's right. But then there was that sappy movie Armageddon.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I don't think I saw Armageddon.
You don't want to. It just
no. It seemed like a cheesy movie, and all I could think about is Armageddon. It. Are you kidding? That gay Def Leppard tune.
You mentioned Sixth Sense. I remember the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, Sixth Sense was awesome. I'm not a Hanks fan, though.
Kid, Unbreakable, Bandits, Hearts War, Grand Champion, True West, Tears of the Sun, Rugrats, Go Wild, Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle, Ocean's 12.
Oh, Willis is in Ocean's 12?
Yeah. He was in an episode of that 70s show, too. Alpha Dog, Lucky Number 11, you mentioned.
Oh, the best.
The Astronaut Farmer. That's the movie you were probably thinking of.
I am thinking of that. Yeah. Terrible.
Grindhouse, okay.
I like Hitchcock a lot. In fact, I will say Vertigo and Rear Window are absolutely genius.
Cop Out.
Psycho's not one of my favorites, and I will say that The Birds is okay at best. But Vertigo and Rear Window are fantastic.
I mentioned Red.
Oh, yeah, Red, yeah. All right, Titch says Red is rock solid.
Mm-hmm. Red 2, not quite as good. I was in Expendables 2.
Oh, yeah, I saw the Expendables too.
Looper.
Yeah.
Fire with Fire, Good Day to Die Hard, G.I. Joe Retaliation, Red 2.
Red 2, Electric Boogaloo, Citizens on Patrol.
The Prince, Vice, Rock the Casbah, Extraction, Precious Cargo, Marauders, Split. Once Upon a Time in Venice, First Kill, Acts of Violence, Death Wish, you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Glass, mentioned that. Motherless Brooklyn, Between Two Ferns, 10 Minutes Gone, Trauma Center, Survive the Night. The movies are going to get really crappy.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty soon because it's like, because he was losing his mind and friggin' he was still making movies too. Yeah, that's about it.
Willis is good.
Oh, I had an idea for a list when Joe comes back.
I think Harrison Ford's been in a lot of good movies.
Yeah, but that was a trivia question once. How many Oscars Harrison Ford won? And when Goose Egg.
Yeah,
guy can't act his way out of a paper bag.
Who?
Harrison Ford. He's a lousy.
I think he's great.
But anyways, I was thinking of a list. Character actors.
Great one.
Prolific,
what's his name? Lionel Stander, who said that? This is my boss, Jonathan Hart, a self-made millionaire.
She's gorgeous.
She's gorgeous, yeah. Lionel Stander. So did Clint Eastwood have more big movies than Willis? I don't think so.
Big movie?
I mean, he was in a bunch
as a director, too.
Yeah.
Hey, let's look at Clint Eastwood, yeah, because I think he definitely did have more than Willis.
Well, he had a lot more movies, but you have to say, I mean, big. I would say, as the question is, could he have good movies? Like, I mean, the spaghetti westerns and stuff that everyone loves, I was never a fan of.
Okay, well, the Dirty Harry movies,
those are good.
And there's going to be a lot of good ones here, like Unforgiven.
Yeah, Unforgiven's good.
Yeah. In the Line of Fire with John Malkovich. That was good, where he played a Secret Service agent.
Yeah, Malkovich is awesome in that, which is why I would suggest him for the remake of worst Boston movie ever, Mystic River or The Departed. Departed is terrible. I know people will sit there and say it's good, but they're idiots. The movie stinks.
Fever Pitch, that stupid movie with Drew Barrymore and fucking Jimmy Fallon. A lot
Gran
of bad
Torino,
Boston
Everett.
movies. Yeah, he was. Clint Eastwood was in horror movies too. He was in Tarantula.
Oh, wait a second. Isn't the movie Charlie with Cliff Robertson based in Boston?
Is it?
Oh, I think so. Oh, Escape from Alcatraz is great. Oh, Clint Eastwood's awesome.
What's the worst movie shot in Boston? This starts off saying, with great films like The Departed.
Departed. This isn't reality TV. You have to understand, whatever you want to say about Nicholson, other than The Shining, I could give a shit about any Nicholson film. Give two shits. I think Cuckoo's Nest is overrated.
You didn't like Cuckoo's?
I think Five Easy Pieces stinks.
It has that one scene
that everyone quotes. Yeah, who cares? Yeah. You know what scene is better? I'll have what she's having from When Harry Met Sally. Nicholson to me is just a hack. I don't like him.
Oh, how'd you feel about Black Mass? That was in Boston. Johnny Depp.
Gene Hackman, however, I like that. That was a decent show. You know, I like any Quinn Martin show. Gene Hackman's been in a lot of great films. And when I say that, I'm very well aware that The French Connection 2 could be the worst film of all time. That movie's abysmal.
Did you like Kelly's Heroes at all? With Clint Eastwood, Donald Sutherland, and Caroline
Don Rickles?
Don Rickles was in that too, yeah.
Yeah.
Play Misty for me.
Look
Dirty
at
Harry.
me. I'm as helpless as a kitten
then
in a tree.
Thunderbolt and Lightfoot.
Jack Lemmon might be in a bunch of great movies.
Okay, Enforcer, Gauntlet, Every Which Way But Loose, Escape from Alcatraz.
I think Brasco's awesome.
Bronco Billy was awful. Any Which Way You Can.
I did not know that Aaron Spelling was married to Farrah Fawcett.
Firefox wasn't good. Honky Tonk Man wasn't good.
When was she married to him? Before Lee Majors or after? Before Ryan O'Neal or after? It's a Fugazi. How do you know it's a Fugazi? Yeah, Lemon was great.
Rider. Heartbreak
Matthau.
Ridge. Heartbreak Ridge was good. From
great movie.
Deadpool. Pink Cadillac, awful.
Nicholson, Pacino, De Niro, all terrible. I'll give you that. A lot of them have terrible movies. Pacino's good in about 4 movies. De Niro might be good in 3. And all I have to say is, if somebody wants to tell me how great De Niro is, see Awakenings. Or Meet the Parents. God, he sucks. Midnight Run, he's great. Goodfellas, he's great. Casino, he's great. And that's where I'm about done with him. Pacino, I'll give him Godfather 1. Dog Day Afternoon. I even like Serpico, believe it or not. And, Pacino was critical of William Friedkin when he made the movie Cruising. And here's what William Friedkin had to say about Al Pacino.
I don't give a flying fuck into a rolling donut about what Al Pacino thinks.
Oh. Well, I guess we heard from William Friedkin.
Oh, you mentioned Mel Gibson. He's been in a lot of good things.
So I guess, and I'll tell you right now what Al Pacino's best movie is, and he's probably going to be pissed that I say it, but it's him and Glenn Ross.
Fuck you, Dave.
Okay. That's how he feels about it. Who's the best actor in Glenn Ross? It's clearly fucking Jack Lemmon. Kidding me? When he does the turnaround, he's like, hadn't it? How do you know the checks didn't go downtown? Hadn't it? Lemon's a fucking god. He's a god amongst insects. In the rental, GMC SUV. Nice. By the way, Glenn Ross is a fantastic film. Have you seen it, Krell?
Yeah. Yes, I have a few times. Do you have the clip?
I just played it where it says "fuck you, Dave."
Oh no, I mean where he's getting the coffee.
Oh, I do somewhere. Hold on, let me see. I forgot I even had that clip. Let me just see.
Call yourself a salesman.
Your name's Levine. Yeah. You call yourself a salesman, you son of a bitch?
China Syndrome's fantastic. Like I said, you could put Lemon in anything. He's great. Also, lemon in water, just to squeeze, is excellent.
Which is why I just said it.
Oh, okay. And then yeah. Kevin Spacey also was pretty good at in Glenn Ross. And here's James Gandolfini when they asked him about him.
He's a fag.
Well, do you, Dave? Let me look at what you were referring to. Sea of Love was good with Pacino. Sea of Love was okay. Did I know before? No, I had no idea. I said that. I said, obviously I didn't if I was asking, was she married before? Let me see. Her son used to work for us at West LA. Let me see here. Farrah Fawcett, looking it up. She was married once to Lee Majors, 73, and divorced in 82. And then she's been with Ryan O'Neal since 79 to 97. Oh, call myself. Yeah, of course I call myself a salesman. You call yourself where did Joe go? You call yourself a salesman, you son of a bitch? Oh, okay. Yeah, Joe.
No list
he had to go. Yeah, it's great.
No list tonight.
Yeah. I guess we don't have a list going. Because
Well,
Joe
next
had
week
to...
we could do a list of greatest character actors. That would be good. Next week.
Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise.
Actually, I'll tell you a funny story. I'm playing with Joe the other night in Fortnite. And I said, it was like 10 o'clock at night. I said, Joe, at 11, I got to cut it. He goes, what? I go, yeah, Jerry's going to come by. I'm going to smoke a cigar in my driveway with Jerry. He's like, Jerry's cutting the game short. I'm like, I'll let him know you're unhappy. It was fucking hilarious. And then I was talking to Jerry. This was Jerry's reaction. I'm like, Jerry, so what's been going on? Maybe you shouldn't have come by. No, he was awake.
I know why Bomb wants to pull up a quick list. I have no idea.
You're going to pull up the 10 most overrated guitar players on YouTube.
Oh, that's gonna. I'm just curious. The 10 most overrated guitar players would.
Jerry's good. Jerry's good. So Jerry wanted to come over to shoot the shit about MCT oil. He's putting it in his coffee now, and he's feeling like he's feeling great, and he's not eating as much, and he's trying to, take off the last few pounds. So we had a conversation about that. I smoked a cigar. He doesn't smoke cigars, but he just sits out there and we just shoot the shit and talk It's like an hour and a half. It was a long cigar, but it was good. It's good to see him. I don't see him that often. He only lives about a mile and a half, maybe 2 miles up the road from me. Like literally, it's like you just drive straight up one road, take a right, and up another, and he's right there. But we don't see him. I don't see him that often. I mean, tomorrow he might go to the open jam. I'm not going tomorrow. At least I don't think I am. I got to teach tomorrow all day from like 4 o'clock on to about 8 o'clock. And I don't think I'm going to go out after that.
His top 10 overrated guitar players, really quick. From
all right, now top 10 overrated guitar players. We got 3 minutes to bang this out for your list of the evening. From Geargasm.
Yeah.
Number 10.
Zach Wilde.
Really?
Yeah, I was surprised to see that too.
I think Zach's a great player.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone puts him in the talks about great players, and I think he is a great player.
I think the rest are gonna be right up your alley. It's like number 9's The Edge. I mean,
I don't think he's overrated.
Well,
I think he's underrated. Because I think what he does is so creative. It doesn't have to be, I can play a million notes. And he's using delays, but he uses it very creatively. I think he's a great player.
Okay, well, you'll agree with this one. I know this. Kirk Hammett.
He sucks. But the only reason why people like him is because they're Metallica. They're Metallica nerds. They get the black fucking Metallica t-shirts, the jeans, the fucking work boots, the greasy hair.
Number 7 is Slash.
Angelina's doing well. She was going to come over for a lesson last week, and then I couldn't do it at the time she wanted to do it. So we're like, well, we'll do it soon. But yeah, no, Angelina, just so you know, she's the niece of one of my best friends growing up. So her mom and I've known her mom my whole life. I always, she was like an older sister to me. So, Angelina's, she's my student, but her family and I go back 100 years. Go on.
Number 7 was Slash.
I agree with Slash. Stinks. Not
Number
a fan.
6, Ace Frehley.
Overrated?
Yep. 5.
I'll give it to him. I think he's a good player. I think he was great on the first 3 albums. The way he plays today, it sounds not so much.
Dialing it in. Number 5 is Joe Perry.
It's so funny. So many people come up to me when they find out like I teach or if I play at an open jam, and they'll come up to me and they're like, hey, can I ask you a question? What do you think of Joe Perry? Nope. No, I haven't seen him in years, Cheech. And I'd be like, why do you ask? And they're like, well, do you think he's good? I'm like, I think he's okay. I like Brad Whitford better, but I would say he's nothing special. And they're like, I think he's terrible the more I listen to him. I'm like, oh, that's so funny. A few people have said that to me, and I'm like, it's like they're all coming out saying they don't like Joe Perry. I'm like, it's all right. I don't love him.
4 is Jack White. White Stripes. Yeah. Number 3.
I don't know who's rating him high though. Like, is he overrated or? I mean, I guess if somebody's
the most overrated, it's going. Whoever's number 1 is going to be the most overrated.
Right, but is anyone putting Jack White in a conversation of like he's a great player? I don't know.
Well, he's definitely.
Jack White does nothing different than say guys like Mark Ribot, but Mark Ribot does it a lot better. But no one's even talking about Mark Ribot, so I can't even say.
3 is Santana.
Oh, Santana's fucking horrendous. Horrendous. He might be my number 2 of the most overrated. Could be even number 1. I think Santana's a terrible, terrible guitar player.
Number 2.
I don't think so, Cheech. No.
Some
do. Keith Richards, you can see in his fingers, he has rheumatoid arthritis. But other than that, I don't know who else does. I don't know.
Number 2 is Clapton.
Eric Clapton. So I always differentiate when people ask me what I think of Clapton. I always say, are you asking me what I think of Clapton, the guitar player, or what I think of Clapton, the artist? As a guitar player, nothing special. I don't care. It doesn't do anything for me. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying he's good. It just doesn't do a fucking thing for me. As an artist, I love him.
And number 1. Any guesses?
Yeah, Hendrix.
No. No, it is. I was going to say Page just to piss you off.
It wouldn't piss me off. Hendrix for sure, because a lot of the guys from the late 60s, early 70s looked to him as being like this amazing. They were all, I mean, he's the Yngwie Malmsteen, if you will, of the 60s.
As far as influence. Yeah.
No, as far as being the player, but his music stinks.
Not all of it.
Well, not all of Yngwie's stinks.
Hmm.
But like where Jimmy Page would be the Eddie Van Halen, where it was way more about the song, although I would never compare the two. I think that Page is way more creative in far as making soundscapes and being creative on the instrument. I mean, I think Eddie dabbled in stuff with Top Jimmy and stuff like that, but you know, Page was a creative genius. And Hendrix, don't get me wrong. If you ask me what I think of Hendrix, I think he was a fucking fantastic player. And I think there's some songs on Bold as Love that are just phenomenal. And there are some songs on Band of Gypsies. It's just when people talk about him nonstop, it's like, well, we kind of got lucky that he died and that he was a drug addict. Because there's not a lot of music with him, but he really changed a lot of guitar. Do I prefer Richie Blackmore to Hendrix? Absolutely. Do you have Richie Blackmore without Hendrix? No. Do I prefer Robin Trower over Hendrix? I would take Bridge of Sighs over any Hendrix record. Does that mean there's Robin Trower without Hendrix? No, you need him. But I just think he was a great player. Eddie was Hendrix without the... I think Eddie could improvise. I think Eddie was always improvising. I think that Eddie was a better songwriter than Hendrix. And Hendrix doesn't have the... Hendrix was, a blues player. But Hendrix smoked Clapton at the time. But you take a Hendrix song like Red House, and you take a Led Zeppelin song like Since I've Been Loving You, and I think Since I've Been Loving You is...
Yeah, I'm not fond of Red House.
Way better.
It's overplayed, too.
I think Stevie Ray Vaughan took the Hendrix stuff to another... Yeah, but you're talking about the riff writing. I mean, Eddie was writing still when Roth left the band. There's a lot of riffs there. It's that type of thing where, crosstown traffic. Pass. I'm just not a fan. I get it, but Hendrix was Apollo. That's exactly how I feel. The clean tone on songs like Bold as Love, Spanish Castle Magic with a little bit of an overdriven tone was good. But when you get to the heavy stuff like Foxy Lady, fuck off. Actually, I do like Highway Child. But One Rainy Wish, May This Be Love, those are the really nice songs. However, I did like his overdriven tone when he played with Band of Gypsies. Who Knows, I think, is fantastic. I mean, Who Knows, that to me is the archetype for the Robin Trower tone.
What is that? In From the Storm, I think, was on that album too.
Hendrix did not have everything. If he had everything, he would have had everything. Doesn't have everything. He's got terrible songs. You want to laugh. I mean, people like go look at, and people like always put the Who with Led Zeppelin. Go look at record sales. How many people Led Zeppelin reached versus the Who? And you're going to be shocked that it's not even a fraction.
We did
it
that
might be
exercise
10%. But I think Hendrix was an important player, so I don't want to downplay. I don't want to take away from that of his importance and what he brought. I just don't think that. I think people put him to like a godlike status, and even though he was very good, it's overdone. It's like people who put Chuck Berry. You know, when you go to the earlier '60s guys. Before Hendrix, they'll sit there and tell you about Chuck Berry. Go listen to Chuck Berry. Is that making your fucking day?
Yeah, Paulo, that's what I had. I had smash hits from Hendrix, and I had the Blue Album and the Red Album. Just like with the Beatles, the Blue Album and the Red Album.
From who, Aerosmith?
No, he mentioned Jimi Hendrix smash hits. Then I had the Essential Jimi Hendrix. I had the red one and the blue one. And then that brought to mind that was my exposure to Beatles too, was the Blue Album and the Red Album greatest hits.
Yeah, I just don't think the songs from Hendrix were that good. To say Hendrix had everything, I would say, tell me 5 good songs the guy made. I don't know that there are 5 great songs. I just don't know that there are. There's a couple of good ones. I think Spanish Castle Magic's pretty good.
Greg Koch does
like
a good
Golden Rose, the color of a dream I had. That's a good song. And I like Highway Child. I could tell you 20 great songs. You could tell me 20 songs you like. If they were great, he would have sold millions and millions. I think all his albums collectively sold like 5 million records. I don't think he sold what you think he sold. I don't think those are good songs. Hey Joe was a cover.
Mm-hmm. As was All Along the Watchtower, which was a great cover.
Jeff Beck says he wanted to quit. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, look, a lot of people thought the same thing when they heard Yngwie. But people improve and they work on this stuff and they become...
Yeah. Like one Paul Gilbert. He was influenced by Yngwie. And then Sean Lane. And then he came up with his own style out of it. It was cool because Gilbert would come out with the songs YRO, and it literally stood for Yngwie Ripoff.
Yeah.
And so he'd imitate Yngwie. But then look at him today. Gilbert plays anything. Yeah. Oh, I think I'll stop playing slide. So he teaches himself to play slide.
I think if you would compare them as guitar players, Gilbert's one of the greatest players. Yeah, I mean, a lot of players do. Sometimes, Cheech, that's a thing that people want. You know, like a lot of people sit there and say, if you could tell a guitar player who they are from 2 seconds of them playing, that's a great thing. Because how many people can you name that could do that? You know, as much as I say that Paul Gilbert is a great player, if I played you a recording of Gilbert doing something and you don't know the songs, would you be able to know it's him? You might know Angus Young. You'll definitely know Eddie Van Halen. You'll probably know Yngwie. So that says something very telling of those players. You know, you could tell a Lukather solo. I could tell. Yeah, I didn't like Impellitteri. I could tell Jeff Porcaro drumming. Yeah, he has improved, but
Impellitteri a lot cleaner than he used to be.
Yeah. Yeah, Terry Kath was a great guitar player. Well, in my opinion, you don't have Gilbert without Yngwie, but I think Gilbert's a more rounded player.
Oh yeah.
Randy Hansen.
That was that goofy looking guy, white guy. that used to
Look,
do
Ole
it.
Roth is a big Hendrix guy, but does he play better than Hendrix? I think he does. You won't know Luke or Ingve? I can tell you Ingve in 2 seconds.
Yeah. Even if it's someone imitating Ingve.
Yeah, but even if someone's imitating, I can tell you if it's the real Ingve because I can hear.
Yeah,
his-
that's what I meant.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. It's like even if it's someone imitating Ingve, I can pick Ingve out.
And some
'Cause no
people
one can
do
really
the
do
Ingve
anything.
thing and they pick better than he does.
Mm-hmm.
Guys like Greg Howe and those guys were all like fucking crazy good. Even Paul Gilbert. But because they do it better, it doesn't sound like Ingve. You want to sound like Ingve? Play harmonic minor.
True.
All right. Marty Friedman's excellent. I love. Larry Carlton's one of the greatest. I mean, there's a guy who's just awesome. I would have no idea. How many people are in the world? 7 billion? Maybe there's a billion. Maybe there's less. Yeah, Larry play everything Larry touches. To me, he's a session guy. He's just gold. Awesome. All right, everyone, that's going to do it for the show. I am going out. I don't know if I'm going to smoke a cigar. I might just go play with Joe on Fortnite. Want to thank everybody for hanging out with us. Thank you, Krell. And we'll see you guys all here this time next week where we're going to rip on the works of Sir Laurence Olivier. No, I'm joking.
Is it safe?
Look, forget about
Yeah, we're on
Marathon
that
Man
rant
because
again
it's
this
terrible. But if you ever see The Jazz Singer with Neil Diamond, the acting in that movie is so terrible. But Laurence Olivier puts on the performance of his life. I don't know, Paulo. I haven't decided. It's a pain in my ass, and I'm always like, oh, I should post it because some people like it. No, I shouldn't. If it's a pain in it makes my gig of work. I like to feel like I'm not working. Johnny Kramer, thanks so much. Keep up your great live stuff.
Catch you
I
later,
love hearing you talk while I look at your neighbor's yard. Or the bird feeder, whatever the hell you're showing, Johnny. Johnny, get more on camera, will you, for the love of piss? All right, everybody. Have a great night. Very good.